I have a quote from a talk by William R. Bradford. It's called A Cluttered Life. Let's talk about this a little bit. A cluttered life is a life that you do not have control of. It is a life in which the things you have surrounded yourself with and allowed to use up your time are controlling you and negatively influencing your happiness and eternal progress. You know, when we hear the word things, we go right to belongings. He's saying things can include belonging, but the things that use up your time are so much bigger, so many more. We could say belongings, we could say our job, we could say media, we could say the conversations we have, the things we read, the things we talk about, the things we do. All of those things together can make our life just really cluttery. And how does he say it again? They're the things you have surrounded yourself with and allowed to use up your time are controlling you and negatively influencing your happiness and eternal progress. I think that sometimes, I know I get up feeling this way, and maybe you can think about whether you do too. You get up and you have this brief moment when everything feels all clear and just kind of, because you know, your brain kind of clears out the closet while you're asleep. But then as you start going through the day, everything starts to get all cluttery. Your brain, you start thinking about all the things you need to do and you want to do and the problems you have, and you don't feel good, or you do feel good, or you're worried about your child and what they're doing, and you're worried about your boss. You're worried about the fact that you need to worry. There's a lot of worry involved in this. There's a lot of worry. And then you are tired of worrying, so you start watching television or you start eating or whatever it is to de-stress, to try to take care of those worries, to try to tamp it down and do things where your brain won't think so that you won't have those concerns. And what you're doing is just cluttering up your self more and more and more and more, and those things then begin to control you and negatively influence your happiness and eternal progress. So the opposite of cluttery is simple, calmer, breathing room. When you're a writer or you write emails or things are online particularly, you become really aware of the white space, that if people write great big long paragraphs in an email, it's very hard to read. It's just the digital media of it, so there needs to be enough white space. And we need to have white space in our life. White space around all the things that we do, that we're talking about, we're thinking about, but we don't give ourselves very much white space, if any. Even like when you're watching television. I'm watching a lot of Paramount Plus. It comes with my Walmart subscription. And you have to watch commercials just like the old days, and you can't skip through them. And instead of just looking around and taking a breather or something, I'll sit there on my phone. So I'm going back and forth trying to multi-focus, which is really bad for my brain recovery. For those of you that are new, I fell down the stairs and got a brain injury, which I am working on recovering from. And focusing is really bad for my brain. It's really bad for your brain. But we do it. It's like we just don't want to have any white space in our life at all. We must be productive. We must fill every single tiniest, how can you divide up seconds? You can't have the fragment of a segment not be filled with something. And that controls us and negatively influences our happiness and our internal progress. A cluttered life is a life that you do not have control of. And we don't have control of it because just like getting a closet and stuffing it so full of things that if you open the door, everything falls out, we're doing the same things with our lives, with our existence. And then we don't have control of those things. It's a life in which the things you have surrounded with and allowed to use up your time are controlling you. So by getting into these multi-focusing situations and by feeling that we have to have every single second of every single day filled up with something, because perish the thought that we could just sit and quietly do something with no sound, or that we could sit and look out the window and enjoy the sight of snow melting off your deck. That's what's out there. Or to go to a restaurant with our spouse and just eat without looking at our phones. Or just take a ride and look out the window. You know, the kinds of things we used to do. Do you remember that? Are you old enough that you remember that? There weren't very many channels on TV. That meant that there were a lot of times when there wasn't anything good to watch. So we read books. And I remember the most, a lot of sitting around as a family, just talking about stuff, talking about our day, talking about our plans, talking about what we did, just a lot of talking. And there was time for me as a child to lay out on the back lawn and look up at the sky and wonder if I was in a movie. Like Truman. I think Truman came from a lot of people doing the same thing. What if I'm the character in a story? Or I wonder if God can see me laying here. I had the time as a child to do those kinds of things and to learn to play the piano and to just walk the neighborhood, walk up slowly up the street to my parents' door and look in the windows and look around and sit and watch other people. And I didn't feel this inner clutter, inner pressure that I needed to do more. And that just existing in the world and looking around in a calm way was boring. We've gotten so used to the speed of everything, the magnitude of everything, the clutter of everything, that just our regular selves and lives and time feels boring. So a cluttered life is so much more than having a closet that needs to be cleaned out. I think a cluttered life is getting down to what a life authentically is, what it was. So I changed my channel name towards A Simple Life. And when I started out decluttering, that was like a rudimentary beginning. I knew I had a lot of things that I didn't want to own anymore. I also knew I didn't want to get down to almost nothing, but that was a place for me to begin. And then I started to feel like I needed to slow things down. I needed to simplify things, but I didn't know how. And so I've made all these videos, and if you go back and watch my videos in 2024 and forward, you'll see me kind of working through it. And as I discovered something, I would share it with you. It's like a little treasure hunt. And as I find something, I share it with you. And as I find a new idea, I share that idea with you. I have been learning so much from this injury because my brain simply and my body simply won't let me go at warp speed anymore. It is forcing me to slow down. This morning I got up and I had a big long dream list of things I wanted to do. Clean the bathroom. I want to make a white 2-layered cake with lemon curd filling white frosting and coated on the outside. I've been dreaming about that for some time, but we have to have high altitude adjustments to the recipe, and I couldn't figure that out. And this morning I woke up and I thought, Grok is a AI. Grok could help me. I could put in the recipe and say, hey Grok, I love it this many feet. Could you adjust this so it's a high altitude that will work for me? And Grok, with the math mind, could do that. Oh, I was so excited by that. Then I need to fix my curtains, and I want to do some more decorating. And I'd sure like to, and you see what I'm going, I was going on and on about what I wanted to do, and I was really excited about doing it. And then I hit the wall, my body telling me, hold on, Roseanne, you just can't go that fast. So what is the simplest thing that you can do? And the first simple thing was, I'm going to get dressed, get my makeup on, because we have a church meeting this evening, and then I won't have to do it later. So I did that. Put on pink, because pink is a cheerful color and it cheers me up. And then I started having these ahas, and I thought, I'm going to share these ahas with my friends. Then I'm going to go in and clean the bathroom, because I haven't done that in a few weeks, and the floors are, I'm getting dust bunnies. It's time to go get rid of the dust bunnies in my bathroom. And then I'll see where I'm going to be next. I believe I'm going to do the curtains. I'd like to do the cake, but the curtains are the most important thing. Gary finally figured out how to get the middle curtain up, but now it's made it really obvious to me that I need to formally shorten the curtains. A cluttered life is a life that you do not have control of. It is a life in which the things, activities, media, people, everything that you surround yourself with and allow to use up your time are controlling you and negatively influencing your happiness and eternal progress. Well, my friend, let's go off and have the best day we can. And that doesn't mean it has to be a jam-packed day. That means that we're just making good decisions about what's right for us this moment. I hope I see you again. Bye.